Hello, I'm Matt Rosevere, Associate Chief Operating Officer for Family Services, Community and Therapies. It's Wednesday, the 7th of September, and this is my weekly update. Most of us have now had our summer holidays, evenings are starting to draw in a bit earlier, and our attention is now starting to turn to winter. We all know that this is when the pressures on hospitals and community services increases, and this winter is forecast to be one of the most challenging in our lifetime. A couple of weeks ago, Amanda Pritchard, the NHS England Chief Executive, wrote to us outlining the steps that we're expected to take to increase capacity in our services and resilience in urgent emergency care ahead of winter. First, though, just a note on elective care recovery and the NHS's first key ambition on recovering services, which was to focus on patients who had been waiting more than 104 weeks for their treatment. All of our services and family and community services have achieved this post-COVID recovery target with no patients waiting over 104 weeks. Our longest wait for elective treatment is currently 70 weeks in gynecology. This is still too long to wait, and we are working very hard with this patient and the clinical team to ensure they receive their required treatment ASAP. Our longest wait in breast services is 46 weeks, paediatrics 58 weeks, and dental is 58 weeks. Our main challenge is capacity in terms of workforce, access to theatres, and access to anaesthetic assessment, and we are working with colleagues across the Trust on solutions for all of these. Urgent and emergency care is currently under significant pressure, and we have faced one of the busiest summers ever. Many of you will have felt this whether you work in our hospital or community services, so it's extremely important that we are focused on the actions we need to take to increase our hospital capacity and enable more patients who would otherwise be in hospital to receive support at home. Nationally, our collective objectives and actions this winter are to prepare for another variant of COVID-19, to increase capacity outside of acute hospitals, to increase the resilience of NHS 111 and 999 services, to target ambulance response times and handover delays, to reduce crowding in A&E departments, to reduce hospital occupancy through increasing hospital capacity and also improving the pathways elsewhere, to ensure in timely discharge, and to provide better support for people at home, including the scaling up of virtual wards. So what does this mean for our services? Well, quite a lot. For community services, we are investing in our discharge to assess support. We're increasing staffing capacity in our discharge team to include a care navigator with the goal to reduce delays in discharge and improve patient-centred care. We're increasing staffing capacity in intermediate care therapies, enabling us to move from a 5 to a 7-day service, meet increasing demand, and maximising the recovery and potential of patients. We are also increasing staffing capacity in community therapies, enabling expansion of our crisis response service, supporting patients to remain in their own home, and for those patients being discharged from hospital to receive timely transition from hospital to community rehabilitation, maximising their recovery. We're implementing a home care service to support patients who no longer require acute medical care to be discharged home, freeing up hospital beds and improving patient flow. We're developing virtual wards within the community to enable patients who otherwise would be admitted to hospital to be supported in their home. We're starting with frailty and respiratory infection pathways initially. We're recruiting advanced clinical practitioners to work across community services and primary care, linking with hospital doctors, GPs and community colleagues, providing clinical leadership and oversight of our virtual wards. We're expanding our OPAT service, which enables patients who require courses of IV antibiotics to receive this treatment either as an outpatient or in their own home, avoiding the need for them to stay in a hospital bed unnecessarily. We're expanding call transfer opportunities with the ambulance service, building on the pathways we've already established with some non-life-threatening ambulance calls being transferred to our community services single point of access for an urgent community response. And we're continuing to develop our community 2-hour urgent crisis response service, ensuring we overachieve against the national target of 70% of calls being responded to within 2 hours. We're currently achieving over 90% consistently. And we're also participating in the Discharge 100-Day Challenge, working with hospital teams and social care services to implement the 10 actions that have been found to have the biggest impact on helping patients to be discharged from hospital and supported at home after a review of best practice across the country. And for family services, we're running a palivizumab, if I can say that correctly, vaccination programme for infants at high risk of RSV infection, following national guidance and putting in the appropriate training for colleagues. We're investing in additional respiratory equipment in paediatric wards, assessment and ED areas to ensure we can meet the expected surge in paediatric respiratory infection demand. We're investing in additional temporary medical staffing capacity to ensure we have the workforce required to meet increased demand, covering any maternity leave, sickness absence, and provision of additional medical resource overnight. We're investing in our paediatric nursing staffing capacity to enhance capacity within assessment, wards, and ED. We're working with commissioners to gain funding to continue our very successful paediatric hospital at home service in North East Lincolnshire and expand this into North Lincolnshire. This service enables children and young people who would otherwise have been admitted to hospital to be supported in their home. And we're reviewing our gynecology urgent care pathways to ensure our patients receive the best possible care and patient experience and don't stay in a hospital bed any longer than necessary. If you have any questions about any of these actions or ideas of what more we can be doing to support both our patients and our colleagues during this winter, please do contact me. Thank you to our nutrition and dietetics team for their weekly nutrition tips. You can find these in the blog that's dropped into your email inbox today. If you have a concern or any feedback, please do contact me or any of our senior leadership team. You can also contact our Freedom Speak Up Guardian, Liz Houchin. Thank you for listening. Please do like, comment and subscribe.